Hello and welcome to episode 19 of our Timberborn 1.1 Iron Teeth hard mode playthrough on the Timberpunk 2 map, Cycle 16, Day 2. And we have made some considerable progress the last couple of episodes, but there's still more we have to take care of. Obviously, we have this whole can of worms we're currently attempting to work on. The task at hand right now is attempting to get over into this general area. See if I can actually show this to you. Yeah, right here, so that we can eventually put a cap on top of this thing, which is still dormant, but when it goes off will expose a tremendously large amount of bad water to this entire area and cause a whole bunch of these things not to work. And we don't want that to happen. Well, I don't. I don't know, it's possible there's somebody watching these videos that really wants that to happen, and you know what, that's fair. It is more interesting, more entertaining when that sometimes goes wrong, but I don't want to deal with it, so let's hope that doesn't happen. We have here and here, bad water seeps activating in 28 days and 4 days, respectively, which means it is probably about time for us to consider, there we go, for us to consider how we're going to continue waterproofing this area. And you might notice, if we scroll down to here, that on this level, we do have natural dams here, here, and way back over here. Or did I? No, I actually cleared that out already. Okay, well that's a good sign. We have somewhere for bad water to escape. This is the one that's going to activate first. Remember, it is a seep, so it will never get higher than the spot that it's in. This one, also a seep, will never get higher than the one that it's in. But we also have bad water source here, 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 here. I think that's it in this immediate area, but that is going to become an issue at some point in the future. And what's going to happen with that is we will really need to think about either raising the wall up here or dynamiting out some way for bad water to escape. Presently, it's not a huge issue. It's just an issue. I have a lot of notes. I'm going to do my best to try and do as much as I can with every one of those things, but you know how this goes. So let's get this through the night with some triple speed and take it nice and slow when the sun comes up, talk about a couple of things, point A to point B, and see exactly what else we can get ourselves into. I know we've got a lot of trees that need to be cut down. We are going to be making some changes to that. That's that 3-day warning for that bad water seep. These are all marked for cutting. But you might notice we only have 1, 2, and I think there's a third one somewhere. Yeah, we've only got 3 of these lumberjack flags, and our friend Mike in the comments has informed us of that. We probably want about 7 to 8, all prioritized by haulers. So, best way that we can do that is just put in a couple more. I think I will put one right here in the middle, just so that's a little bit more convenient. But in this spot here, this is actually, if you take a look at what's been planted, this is actually something I'm looking to put this path back through so we can gain a few more squares back, and then probably, once this is connected, put something here-ish. But for the time being, I believe our best opportunity is going to be to just put in something somewhere, wherever it will fit, even if it's not, you know, the perfect solution, because we do just need to get stuff cut down. So, putting another lumberjack flag here, again, not the perfect spot for it to go, but it will work. And then this obviously is far away, so I might actually... Is this actually going to connect? I know this won't connect here, but I guess I'll just have to put this right here. This is probably about the best place I could put it at this exact moment in time. I was given a pretty good solution for automating the water dumps that we might do at some point in today's video. I'm not going to commit to it necessarily. And there was discussion had about where in the world we're supposed to be putting charging stations. A couple people said, oh, put more everywhere so they can get them when they need them, but there were some others who also said it's kind of pointless to have charging stations anywhere that is not adjacent to a district center or a builder's hut, because the bots will never charge on their way to a task. They'll only charge after it's completed. So if they run out of power halfway on their way to a task, they're going to go walk all the way to the task at whatever slow speed, do the task at slow speed, and then go all the way back to the district center, also at slow speed. And then if the only charger available is all the way back where they're working, according to what these people are saying, that is what is going to happen. And I don't like that. So, probably the best thing for us to do is just increase the amount of power that we can, you know, do in some vicinity of the district center. And I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of these right here. That seems like it's going to be slightly easier. Maybe we should get rid of the ones that are far out, but honestly, I'd rather just add more since we're already kind of lacking in that department. Let's just hit pause on that manually real quick. We have this area here where these bot limbs, bot heads, and bot chassis are all being evacuated. And we have some metal blocks here. So we might as well go ahead. I don't want to set this off early necessarily. But we might as well go ahead and get this completely accessible so we can grab these metal blocks. Those are a great thing to have. And of course there are other things over here. We got metal parts, which could be a very, very useful thing also. Let's path over to this. Oh, there's a tree in the way. In multiple locations. As one does. Alright, I'm not going to have them come over here and cut these down because that would be a tremendous waste of time. Tremendous waste of time. This is clean water that is currently just spilling off the edge of the map here. Not here because that's not how it works, but just right here and not coming over here because these are blockages. This is bad water from this bad water source, which we can't just cap unless we want to spend a lot of time and a lot of resources working on that. Someone was asking if I can remember where this was. There was a storage, and I had the timestamp and everything. But point being, there was a storage in the bot area. They were saying, what in the world is there? You should get that. And I think it was coffee beans, which I'm not entirely super convinced are necessary at this point. Ah, right here. Oh, they're eggplant rations. Okay, well, that is kind of a good thing. This was emergency food, so I'm sorry for getting that wrong. At this point, we can probably get this connected and sent out to the main district, although I don't know that I want to have the bots working on that necessarily. We are growing eggplants. We are growing canola. We are not processing any of those things because we don't really have infrastructure set up for that. That doesn't mean we can't do it. So, you know, it's one of those things we can continue working on as time goes by. Not going to be a particularly quick process, but we can do it. Maybe need to, you know, redo how this is laid out. I've got canola, I've got corn rations, I've got corn. This would be a great place to put another one of these if I moved the corn storage somewhere else. So why don't we just maybe confound some of you and do that. Not that I want to do that on purpose, it's just it ends up happening anyway. So, food factory here can be built without interrupting our power. And this will not be a terribly long process to get that done. We can just, you know, do what we can do when we can do it, because that's all that we can do. Alright. Now, before I forget, I do want to come over to the main super-powered source. Let's get this on triple speed. Multiple people have asked what the speed is coming off the side of this map. And that is, you know, not necessarily an easy thing to really compute, because you can't place this directly on top of one of these. And I don't have a way to actually check this super easily. But, you know me, I will try to do something if it's at all reasonably possible. I don't think we're going to get much of a read on this just because of the geometry of how this is set up. And how it literally is not going to let me place anything here. But probably the best I could do would be to come up here and see what is going this way. I don't think any. Oh, no, it's all gone. Yeah, this is doing absolutely nothing up here. So, sorry about it, but I literally can't tell you. Because the game will not let me place anywhere right here because of how this is set up. I'd have to have this, have a gap between it or space on the side or whatever. But, like, I can literally... Like, best I can do right here is 151 HP, or 0 because that, and then that. Suffice to say, is probably considerable. This one is still dormant, yes. And this unstable core is still dormant, and that will, of course, cause those to go away. But right now, this is an absolute, complete nothing burger. We don't even need to worry about it. Now, over here. I was given a comment several episodes ago saying that we should have stuff going on over here that the forester can plant, and I was kind of confused as to what exactly was being asked. And now that I kind of understand it, I figured it would not be a terrible idea to give them a way to get under that path and then plant some more trees over here. Is this going to do a ton of stuff? Not really. But you might as well. You have the ability to do something kind of not horrible, you should probably do it. And is this going to be possible for me to even... Okay, well, I marked it, so that's about the best I can do at this exact moment in time. We did build these charging stations here. That should help us a little bit. This scavenger flag was not connected with the path. That was another thing that you guys caught, so thank you for that. This is now available. That was already marked for cutting. And now we have metal parts available that can be emptied. I don't know that I have a storage in this main area for metal parts. I do, actually. Okay, well that's helpful. Bot part factories are paused because we don't have enough science to unlock the bots to do their own stuff. We will get there. The way that this is set up right now, we can afford to have this number cruncher running at all times, but that's not going to be the way forever that this goes. We did start building tubeways all the way over here, and that is one of those things that I don't even have to tell you how that's going to go. But it is a process. We are working on trying to get this as close and convenient as possible. So why don't we, understanding how this works here. I was going to have that come in. I think I was going to put this right here, and that was going to be the best way to do this. And maybe it isn't the best way to do it. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that I can send bots up here to try and build things, and it won't be a complete hot mess. It'll just be mostly a hot mess. So why don't we just start building this in chunks so that I know I can actually build, and I'm not going to get stuck in between brambles, thorns, whatever you want to call them. We'll get it done. We will absolutely get it done. Now, I can put overhangs in, but we have a decent enough supply chain of planks where I think I can justify just kind of not doing this way. So for this exact spot, I think what's going to make the most sense is, one, choose a single spot for all of these things to connect to, which is probably just going to be right like this, and then just have this come in like so until it is on the bottom here. It doesn't have to be complicated. That is going to be the least annoying way to do it. Just follow it like that. Let it be what it's going to be. And then right here, just put a regular tubeway station. So this will allow the bots to get from here to here. Once we get all this hooked up, of course, we can continue going out this way. We can and should straighten these paths. I know it seems to be like a really hot button topic with some of you guys that like, oh, the path's not straight. So it's like, that's like your top priority is getting the path straight. Yeah, you have to have that, but not at the expense of literally everything else. At least not in my opinion. Feel free to disagree. That's always allowed. Alright, so this is working here. This is actually going a lot slower than I thought it would. Well, it'll be okay. This is now empty, which means we can come over here with our other food factory. And I'm going to go ahead and set this one to eggplant rations. Obviously, we have other storage and some stuff here that probably should be moved. Yeah, this is just, this is a relic of another time, right? We've had a, maybe not the best layout for most of this stuff. I probably should just rip this all out and just throw them to the wolves to get this rebuilt, because it doesn't really matter. But eventually, this will get redone to some degree, and I think that will be fine. We are pretty good on water, honestly. We need more storage, and that's another one of those things like, well, where are you going to put it? Don't really have anywhere good for it to go, but at some point that has to stop being an excuse, and you just kind of have to do it. So this is all polluted. It's never going to not be polluted. At least as long as I think we're going to be able to do anything in here. So I'm just going to build another one of these large tanks into this general area. We're not really pumping out of here. This one I did say was going to get replaced with a large tank at some point, and I had not done that, so this would be a good opportunity to get them to come clean this out so I can put another big tank in over here. This is practically begging for a larger water tank. So, okay, we got a drought coming up. That is good news for us getting other stuff taken care of. So I'm just going to let them do this. Keep on pumping. Try to get these built. Try to get them filled up. And we'll go from there. Thank you, mute button, for allowing me to cough, sneeze, take a drink of water, etc. so you guys don't have to hear all those horrible noises. Yeah, making progress here is fine. Yeah, cycle 16, getting a drought. It is possible that we will get a longer one. And this is where it's going to be really important for us to have enough water stored, not only to keep the beavers biologically irrigated, but keep the crops irrigated and have enough in store so that we can keep these dumps full up. And I know I've talked about this ad nauseum, getting this kind of filled in here. And I think, for lack of a better way to illustrate this, I don't want to spend the science on the terrain at this exact moment. I think that science is better spent doing something else. But we can pretty easily get this closed in to the effect of having this be its own kind of a self-filling irrigation station. Or, like I said before, slowly start filling this in when we have the science. Right now we do have this right here that is going to do a good enough job of keeping this area irrigated. I don't know that this is really going to be that big of a deal. Oh, you know what we don't have is we don't have enough metal to be building all of these things. That's something that I should have kept up with a little bit better. We do have, yeah, we've got some scrap metal. They are slowly digging it out of this area. But we are going to be in pretty short order, very, very much needing to get all of these ruins removed, which I kind of already talked about it, but that's one of those things we're going to have a more direct thing, or tube-ways or something. Well, it's on the list, and it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to just pause this, because we don't need this. This is like the emergency pump we put in a long time ago. But we're secure enough in our water, and I think this is most important to just keep these trees irrigated. This will mostly evaporate about halfway through anyhow. Yeah, we're using all of our metal, or most of it at least, to take care of this stuff. So, like I said, we're trying to get scrap metal. We do have some. We've got this that isn't connected that we could very easily go ahead and get integrated. I know the paths are abominable. I do not care. And I was trying last time to figure out a spot that would make sense to have these all connected and not be completely insane. Well, this is not a horrible place to put something like that, so since this is connecting all of this to here, I do want to make sure that I have all the materials to build this before I commit to it. This district has 15 planks. These are operating, though. I'm going to let them finish this gear, and I'm going to pause this just so we stop using all these planks. Thank you, autosave. There we go. And this is what I'm going to do. That's already vertical. Good. That is what I needed to put in this spot. That is one log. I'm not going to cry if that goes behind, because that is not worth... That's not the right button. There we go. Not worth derailing everything for. And good. It decided to put it in a logical place instead of where it normally does. Smelter here in this district will help massively. I'm just going to do the easy thing of putting in a storage for metal blocks and scrap metal right next to it. This does need to be unlocked for bots for 1,000 science. I think this is very well worth it. Even though it is 1,000 science and I wanted to have, what, 10,000 to do these. It's going to be so much easier to do this if we just have it set up for bots. So this is now one of the more important things. This right now is okay. Just to kind of run this stuff off of this one. It's not really going to hurt anything. This one marking, yeah, trees should be fine. Did I get it exactly right? I did. That's rare. Remember, this is going to turn on in 0.3 days. It's not really that big of a deal because this will drain everything, and this can't really go anywhere else anyway because we have this blocked off. Yeah, there is nowhere else that this can drain to. However, when this goes off, that's going to open this area to this area, and that could potentially cause some rather annoying consequences. Alright, back to triple speed. This is about to have to shut off, but remember that was automated. And it seems that I should have set this to 1.95 instead. So... Wait, did I set that backwards? Oh, nope, I did it right. It's just pulsing again because doing stuff is hard. Alright. Okay, well... Oh, man. The, I don't know why I have, like, such an aversion to trying to do this in a video. I'm just, like, I hate it when I do stuff really, really wrong because it's inevitably going to make somebody extremely upset. We need to have a depth sensor to shut this off that is tied to a memory. So... Probably all I have to do, honestly, is... First of all, where's the memory? There it is. Actually, no. Timer would probably be better. So when this... No, or, you know, forget it. I'm not going to worry about it. I literally cannot do this during a video or it's going to be a complete disaster. Alright, so that one, I guess... I can just manually pause. Like, I'm sorry. I know it's going to really irritate you, but I cannot justify doing this in a video. Because, you know, I don't edit stuff. If I edited stuff, you know... Probably doing a lot better, but I don't have the ability to really do that because that's how we've decided to do these things. This has to be a vertical tubeway. This has to be set up. Ideally not like this. You know, I probably won't even need this path here. Yeah, we'll worry about that later. Why can't I click on this? Come on. Just let me click on it. Come on, man. Like, I cannot even... There. I was trying to... Okay, they have not done anything with this. Probably because they're trying to build these tubeways first. Let's kick this up a little bit. Alright, so that is emptying. That is emptying. The rest of these, since they can't really, you know, have anything done to them, probably okay. I'll tell you what, though. A pile, that's a warehouse. That can absolutely go away. Maybe I should leave one of these piles here and set to scrap metal. And then instead of doing it some other weird way, I just have scavenger flags here. Have this set to a supply and prioritize so that these guys can start removing stuff. I know they can't get to everything when they have the thorns in the way. It's fine. Not going to be the end of the world. Is this marked for cutting? Yes, I just don't have anybody cutting. Alright, don't need this to be on triple speed anymore. I really do need to get this set. Well, I'm not going to do it right now. Okay, that's turned on. Again, not an issue. Storage has not been built because we don't have enough metal blocks, and I should have just focused on building one of these, although, honestly, this is probably a better thing to get done anyway because we can keep pumping. And 7,000 will be enough to keep most of our stuff alive. Alright. Talked about the wall height with the bad water source. Cannot do a single thing with the flow speed at the mega source without actually going over there, and that is not something we can do. There was one other thing that people wanted me to check, and that was that there is a second, allegedly, what do you call it over here? This thing, but not that one. Like another spot. And you know what? I don't see it, so I think whoever it was that left that comment may be using a different version of this map, because I thought for sure this was the only one that was here, and that would seem to suggest it is in fact the only one here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else, so, well, we checked and it's not there. I guess that's it's going to be what it is. I'm going to turn this one back on just so it's the only thing. And at some point I gotta figure that out. I know, part of me wishes they never added automation, because this is like the one thing that I cannot possibly understand no matter how hard I try. I know it irritates the snot out of you guys. They still not done anything with this. Come on, man. Like, it's prioritized. Why are they not doing it? The only other thing that could possibly be causing that is when they're coming over here to do this, but they still haven't done any of these either, and these aren't even prioritized. They're just neutral, and everything else around them is deprioritized. So, honestly, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. That was the wrong button. Okay. I do want to check and see how the bots are. Oh, that's at 0%, so that one's going to be gone very soon. We have 3, 6, 9, 12. No 15 or 18. But we are about to, in the next couple of days, start losing bots, and we really shouldn't be doing that. Well, well, well. That's what happens. That's part of why I wanted to get that other district completely up and running. But we have parts we can actually export to this district, so we don't have to run these. We just have to have beavers to run the assemblers. So, seeing how we're about to enter a drought, I will turn this back on because we will not need the extra power. I'll make sure those things are turned on because they will give us a little bit more water. Keep these things as topped up as we can, which at this point maybe it's a little bit too late, but it's the way she goes. I was going to plant more cassava over here because we still somehow can never keep that in stock. I think there was a couple other spots. Maybe I was going to do canola here as well. I was going to keep this slightly better setup. Alright, well, not much else I can do except just find out how long of a drought we're about to have and then see if we can tackle a couple things before we have to say goodbye today. Alright, 16 days. That is not a bad draw. So let's pause the rest of these pumps. I now have, in terms of power that's connected, an extra 540. Which means theoretically this doesn't have to be set to the chronometer. But I think as soon as I get this hooked up, it's not gonna want to play nice. We do have gravity batteries that are not really doing anything right now because the demand isn't high enough. Why can I never click on this? Come on. Alright. Well, whenever this thing gets built... Oh, they're waiting on planks. Of course. Even though we have the... that's why. See, this is why. This is why you have to have stuff. Alright. Got nobody in there. Got 4 in there. I have 1 bot there. I don't have any other buildings really except for these, which should have been deprioritized, and I did not do that. So that will get these guys out of here at the very least. Still nobody in here. Alright, well, time to, you know, deprioritize. That can be super deprioritized with no issue. Just leave that on. And I still have no bots in the middle. Alright, so there we go. Just increase the priority on that. This could be a low priority job. And you just gotta stay on top of it. It's never gonna be perfect. Everything else, honestly, for 16 days seems like it's gonna be fine. We can probably keep pumping from here with no issues. This will be fine for 16 days. This will be fine. This is just on. This is just on. So, I mentioned earlier about putting in automation with the depth sensors for the discharges. Not the same setup as the aqua drills. This is like some sort of eldritch voodoo knowledge or something. I don't know. But these, in theory, again, in theory, are not a terribly difficult thing to do. It's just when you set up multiple things off of the same pair of depth sensors, if they aren't evaporating at the same rate, then that causes problems. So we need to inspect these. This is a regular 3x3 with a little jog, so theoretically this one should evaporate a tiny bit faster. This one may actually evaporate faster than this one, but it's also deeper, so I don't want to set it based on that. And this is a perfect 3x3. We also have this, which you can't see because I built stuff on top of it. That is also not great, but it's deeper. So the one we really want to base it off of is this. And I did, you know, copy-paste these instructions given to me in the comments, so if I somehow managed to mess it up, it is not the fault of the person who suggested this. But we want 2 depth sensors. What? This one's set to... Oh, God, these always screw me up. Less than 0.5. Apparently, we were supposed to name this start water. And then this one, which we name stop water. There's some sort of program or syntax with this that I'm not going to use because that's not how my brain works. Set to more than 0.8, which I guess is right here. So, when the water level in this one, which I believe to be the most vulnerable to evaporation, is within the range of 0.5 to 0.8, this discharge will be turned on. And if we all automate to this in terms of the discharges, then in theory that should work. But these have to be hooked up to a memory with set reset. God, it's 1,000 science for this? Seriously? Ugh, alright, whatever. I think I can put that underwater without it being a problem. I'll just leave it there. So I want set reset, turn on when A, which is this one, and then turn off when B, which is this one. I think, yeah. So when this one is on, this one will turn on, and then this one will turn off when this one turns on. So this one sets it, this one resets it. Even if this one is on, this one will preclude this from being on, and then this gets automated to that. Still don't really know how it works, but I follow the directions, so hopefully it does. So this can be just called fluid dump automation. There we go. So hopefully, again, hopefully that will allow us to have some sort of semi-viable setup. I don't have a dump here. I probably don't need one because this is 2 blocks deep. But eventually we might want one, and at that point in time we can put one there. So if nothing else, when this is finished, and it might take it a while, at least automatically watering this stuff should be a pretty simple process. Getting these, now that we're not, you know, running around trying to get everything done before the drought starts, automated, should in theory be a similar setup. Because right now it's already set to when the measurement is less than 1.95, they turn on. But it probably should be set to, instead, when the measurement is... Oh, see, I already can't even figure out what that means. Alright, forget it. Gotta move on. Got to. We have 15 days with none of these sources doing anything. That would be a good opportunity for us to do something with this before we have another cycle that's going to threaten the livelihood of our beavers here. So, easiest thing to do is going to be to come up here and... Why can I... Okay, that's the wrong thing. Just remove all of this in a straight line between here, and then also here, and here, so that I can just make this all the same height, move this up 1 more block, which should basically make it impossible for it to come this way. Now, will all that happen? I can't say. Because these bots are going to do what they're going to do, and we keep running out of them. At least we have materials without running any of these things to do most of what we want to be doing with this. Again, that should, operative term being should, be okay. Still working here. These guys are... Okay, hold on. I need to see if this district even has open space for storage. Yes, but... we probably need to prioritize the haulers. And if we don't, then whatever. This is just the way I always do it, and it works fine. 15 days worth, we should be okay. We have eggplant. Oh, silly me. Did not build a, what do you call it, for the oil. So this is going to be about the best opportunity we have to actually do this. Why don't we take... here, and here. Just disconnect all this. Research the oil press. Of course, that would go right there. Whatever. We'll put this here, and then that leaves us a space to put another food factory for algae if we ever get to that. And also leaves us some space over here. But what we should probably do is just wholesale overhaul this whole mess and start using ladders because we have the ability to do that. So what we have right here is we have the thing doing eggplants, we have the thing doing corn. We can just make a full stack for each thing right here. This is rotated the wrong way. If we have enough planks, which we absolutely do not, then I would rip these out right now. For right now, this is going to have to just be what it's going to be. This has everything except the couple of logs. We'll get that sorted. This right here could probably use a path connection. Yeah, that might speed up a little bit of stuff. Don't have any contaminated beavers. Is this the one that was 12 days? Oh, that was a hidden one that I did not even realize was there. Okay, well. That's fair game, I suppose. 12 days there, 21 days there. That's the problem. It only ever shows you the first one. Well, anyway, they will get to this. We have some amount of time. And this has been started. We have canola seeds. Again, we're going to redo where the stuff is. It's going to be fine. For now, I'm going to leave this as is. Probably turn this food factory back on because we have enough power. They still have not built this thing. Well, at least it's the next thing on the docket to get done once they bring all the parts in. We were very slowly making planks. Yeah, okay, maybe it wasn't the smartest idea to have all of this stuff. Let's hit pause on this number cruncher. See, every time I take it off of automation or put it back on, it's always the wrong choice. Don't know how that constantly happens. What are we doing down in here? We getting more scrap? Oh no, we've got gear storage, pine resin, and explosives that don't necessarily have to be gone from here, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. Power is not crazy far away from this. I know I've been saying for a long time I wanted to put an aquifer drill in here. It's just one of those things I couldn't really justify doing. But I will. I think it's supposed to come up that side. No, actually. I somehow did not even remember exactly the right spot for this to go. Okay, I don't need this anymore. I'm gonna have to have the power come straight up out of here, I'm pretty sure. Which means that is not gonna go through there. Can I get rid of this and have it not be a problem? I think it maybe not. Maybe it's fine. Well, we'll find out, because I don't really know of any other better spot for that to go. Easiest way to get this connected is just going to be going straight across, because this is kind of a huge mess. Yeah, that's the problem, is this isn't really going to be a very convenient thing, is it? This could actually have a whole path through here, but again, they can't really build it, except for one piece at a time, and we all know how much fun that is. The operative term you're looking for is not very. But that would not be the worst thing ever to get this across this way. I just have to make sure I don't want to have a building here before I commit to putting a, what do you call it, in that way. Or I could have this come across. Look, this map has so much going on. Like, it's never going to be perfect, just as long as we're on the same page. There will be improper pathing, and that is the way it's always going to be. Alright, still making bots. Back up to 12, which is good, but we are going to have a couple more of these disappear. Like, this one's about to go away. Why did that just reset? Yeah. I just really want to get at least 2 more made in the next little while. Okay, this is set to... Stop water is on. It's at 0.81. These, again, I don't know what they're set to, but that's fine. And it is worth noting that these will stop even if they are told to keep going, as long as the water is too high for this to put any more water out. So, having the automation based around the one that is most likely to be empty is the right way to do that. So we got storage there. We are continuing to pump. We got 14 days. The rest of this is fine. We've talked about that. Not a big deal. Okay, triple speed again. Just really, really wish they would just get this done. so we could start making more metal, because that's really going to open some stuff up. Otherwise, yeah, see, they haven't even started... Wait a second. Alright, well that explains why that wasn't happening. I keep forgetting you have to put paths on top of the ladders. Oh boy. This is set here. That's probably okay. I just need to constantly monitor this. That one can be built, or it has to be built from above, so that's not going to play nice unless I know exactly what I'm doing. I have to... Yeah, I probably have to wait. But this one here... Yeah, this will be fine to pop there. I know I've been starting on this. If I hit K for Kaboom and this whole thing collapses, then, well... Oh, okay. I guess that works out. This is going to need to be... vertical power shaft up. And even though it's going to cost more planks, I do think it's probably going to be better to build a thing from the top down here. So what is going to happen is I have to identify where this is going to start, and then I have to stop the path at that point. So why don't we do this? That's going to come through here, which actually means... No, you know, this is probably actually the wrong way to do this. No, I'll tell you what. This is going to have to go through here, which means if I'm going to be pathing on top of that, that has to come across this way, because I do want to be able to still get through here. But this is going to have to end up going on top of, I think, basically all of this. So if I come up to here and make this a thing, then I can probably do all of that without having to build anything else. I just have to make this from this spot into... Oh, I don't have... Of course not, I don't have spiral stairs. Ladder time. There we go. Now, getting the rest of this put in place, I guess they are working on it, that's fine. It is on the list of stuff to do, but maybe what I should have them do instead of that, since we know that's not going to get anything worth worrying about, we should probably prioritize this. Because this is what is going to, you know, really cause us to lose our marbles here. That blockage has to go away. Is there another one of these? Not really. I don't have to build up behind this, obviously. I just have to have something that is going to stop this from being a complete disaster. Building this from the inside out is also probably a smart move. This is maybe actually the easiest way to do this. Just to get to the top here. And then build out from that side. We will see. Again, a lot of things to keep up with. Not going to be perfect at all of them, but we'll do our best. Somehow it is always nighttime. Have we made any progress on this? Because this was embarrassing that I'd forgotten about that, but... Oh well. Life goes on. Okay, still working on this. If I can get the ladder built and get them to stop going from underneath while I'm putting these other things in, then I think we'll be in okay shape. This is operating. Thankfully, everything's connected. We have a supply of 2,400, demand of 2,055. We're looking okay. Continuing to make bots. Once again, this is 10,000 science to get this one going, and bot part factories are 5. So I do want to use all those parts before I have to turn these back on. These can probably be removed and things salvaged. But I don't want to do that until I have to, because demolishing things prematurely almost never works out nicely. We do have that extra storage. This one was not placed. That has dried out. This one is waiting on metal blocks. This one is actually still pumping just fine. This one is automated to this depth sensor, so that will automatically be turned off. This is paused for automation, but this is a consideration of, yeah. If this were finished, then these would all be turned on right now. So that's, again, one of those things, you just have to have the stuff done, and it's not always going to be done. Alright. Wow, they've cleared a lot of this out. I know I can keep one. I'll just keep all these. What the heck? They're still doing work. Just might not be super quick that way. Alright. They have made considerable progress over here. This is actually very encouraging. I want to probably... it's only 12 versus... Yeah, I'll put a thing there to save myself a couple of... what do you call it? I just have to be sure that I'm not going to get any beavers or bots or anything stuck up here, because that is a royal pain in the butt. Just want to make sure this is not going to be a really, really stupid mistake. Is this a blockage? It is. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I will exploit the snot out of that. And then just start putting these in wherever I feel like I kind of need to have them. This actually doesn't need to go away, because I am like 99% sure it will never get that tall. So I guess if it does, then I get to be wrong. That will be fine there. I just need to make sure that when I go to put the rest of this stuff in, it will be fine. And, you know, I actually don't need to get this one removed at all. I don't need that one either, because I can just do this from this front side. I can put that there. I can put that there, and this is the blockage. This one actually has to get removed. So I know they want this to be built. This guy, I guess, is just doing that from above because he's allowed to. But we probably don't... You know what? No, we don't need that to be done. Because all I've got to do is just put in this piece here. Because as long as I can just keep this at the same height, it should be fine. We only need the one more. Yeah, we'll just let that be what it's got to be. These are going to activate. It will maybe actually be the next drought cycle after this, depending on what kind of a temperate cycle we get. Or it could be a bad tide, one of those two. Let's come back and check on this. Well, they built that fast. Sheesh. Alright. So, why don't we do ourselves a favor here and get this vertical power shaft in place before everything else becomes an issue. So they can build all of that. I can have this come straight through here, and I just have to have that connected. For now... Okay, this maybe isn't the best way to do this. But, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's move this that way. Same distance, so we don't need to worry about it. But, what this will allow me to do is tentatively hold a spot open. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter. It really does not matter. It's going to be ugly anyway, so that will fit just fine right like that. Bring this along the backside here. Of course, this will have to come connect. But we'll just keep on checking with that. If we made any progress over here, because this is... I'm worried about this one activating, since I'm not actively looking at it. Yeah, they are not making any priority to do this. That's because I prioritized other things. Seems to be fine. Again, we have 10.5 days, so that should be okay. These are not irrigated, but they will not die until 14.5 days, so that seems to be okay. These are still not being cut. This has been finished. This one, I suppose... Did I have this set backwards? No. I shouldn't have this set backwards. This should be... No, this is right. It's not low enough to trip it yet. I was looking at the wrong thing, so I guess we'll come back and see that. Okay, at 94%, that give us our 13th bot, but it won't be 13 for long. It'll go back down to 12 with probably almost no time whatsoever. Still working here. Yeah, still making enough. Seems to be alright. Scrap metal, scrap metal. I guess this could be set to obtain. That would probably make more sense. I know I only have 2 haulers, but eventually that'll get better. Alright, I gotta take a look at these notes again. Can't do everything, but try to do as much as I can. Started working on the grotto thing. Started fixing the food situation down here. Continuing to work on the waterproof for the geothermal detonation zone. We did some well-being stuff last time. We probably should do some more today. We'll see what we can get ourselves involved with. Talked about bot production. Oh, here's another thing. That district crossing, fake district crossing thing with the gates and the automation. I am told... Oh, okay, I deleted it. But I am told that will work if you have all the automation and the gates and everything actually built, and you have to start it manually or something, and you can also hook it up to a lever and keep that pinned so you can just manually manipulate it. It will work, apparently. But at this point, I already have way too much going on for me to try to keep up with that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that yes, I did make a mistake, and that apparently is actually possible. Alright. Yeah, you know what? I think it would behoove us to have some sort of storage locally for logs and also planks, just to get this stuff built. Let's prioritize this. Should be, you know, not a terribly horrible process. I think the main problem with doing this and why I typically say I don't want to bother is that I always forget these are here and set to prioritize or whatever, and then I'm like, why do I have all this stuff going everywhere else in the map except where I want it to go? Maybe I should have another one of these, another one of these smelters over here. This would actually not be a terrible spot for it to go. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm going to leave that alone, because I can just put another one over here and it's not going to be a big deal at all. It could just be the same kind of thing. I don't need to constantly try to do everything. That just ends up in bad things. Okay, so the memory is on until this stop water height is reached. So that one is set fine. This one is not going to tell me what the measurement is, but it is still on. Same with that one. It seems like it's higher than this one at the very least, which is what I was telling you before. Oh, this one's paused. Okay. Maybe I should have the stop set to higher than 0.8. That seems like it's not going to be enough to keep this full. Maybe I made a mistake. I've made many mistakes. But, come on. There we go. Okay, you know what? That's full enough. Should be alright. This is continuing to get sucked dry. That is fine. That's by design. This is already good to go here. This is good to go here. I'm not going to put another tank in yet. But we do need to eventually get some more. I want to, you know, I want to expand the population too, because we have all these other things we'd like to do that we don't necessarily have the ability to, because we don't have the beavers. Hauling post is fully staffed. That's fine. That's fine. I've got these on. So we do have 4 beavers who are not employed. Does not mean we don't need them to be employed, but right now I think the slush that we have is fine. All right. Still not making enough metal to really do much over here. This is, yeah, this is still waiting on that. This is not even on the radar for tasks or anything. Well, they're probably, yeah, they're trying to build the 2-ways first, which, you know, that is actually kind of a helpful thing. And by kind of, I mean objectively very helpful. Let's, for the time being, start the process of making this a passable thing. I know I didn't have to do this way, but it's just easier. It's just easier. All right, so that has to go there, and then from that point, I actually don't need this because I can just have that go like this. And then cut this whole thing out. We don't need this lumberjack flag here either. But until the 2-way's actually fully connected, we don't need to worry about that piece. Rest of this is fine. You know what I should have done is I should have had this go over here instead of, you know, build this mess, but yeah. Here's what it is. Hindsight's 2020, and I have not had 2020 vision since about 1997. If I even did at that point. Okay, that's not connected on purpose. That's fine. Eggplant rations are starting to become a thing. We do have a decent amount of planks now. Construction projects in this district aren't really a thing right now. Okay, this has been done. I'm going to first place that piece there. I'm going to have to start doing these one by one. I think will be the easiest way to handle this. And at least we have some place for these things to go. Getting it done. Getting it done. They have not built that. That's probably to be expected. We are still harvesting these things, I know. This will be a great place to have another connection with the tubeways, but for now, it is probably just going to have to be the way that it is until I can justify coming over here. And, most importantly, getting across. I think this right here is probably the best option that we have. Why can't I alt-click to get to this level? These are... I can't tell. Not the same height? No, this one's one lower. But I know if I have a bridge to come over here, I'm going to have to unlock these longer ones. This needs to be a 4 and a 5. Okay, so that's kind of a non-starter at this exact point in time. Now, if I took a 3 right here and I had the ability to get across, I would actually bring it up to the same level, and I might be able to use 2 3s. Why don't we... I know they can't even get to this. It's kind of pointless even trying, but making a straight line path... Come on. There we go. Through this is going to actually kind of work. Yeah, and I know it's circuitous. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. That can connect there. This can connect here. It's just, again, going to be one of those things. You just have to trust the process on this. Speaking of connections, I know this is going to get brought up again because it's been brought up several episodes in a row. We need to get over here, honestly, but there's just so many other things going on. So many other things going on. I really don't know a good route to do this short of coming through this mess. I know I talk a lot about zip lines as a thing that's annoying to build because you have to get to the place where they're going first and you can't build them as you go. But tubeways are just so much more expensive. If I can find a way to get around this without it just being hellaciously annoying, then maybe we should... I'll tell you what. Let's just start with something. Because we absolutely have to have something. I know it's not going to be a perfect thing. At this point, if you're watching these videos, you really need to be of the understanding that literally none of this is going to be perfect. But I think most of you are there. Just get that done. It's just the hardest part about this is coming back and remembering what you have and have not told the game you don't want to be messing with. This isn't going to flood. Don't need to worry about it. What is the better way to come through this? And some of these like aquifer pumps would really benefit from being turned on to keep this whole area going. For now, I'm going to leave that open. Yeah, I think it's going to be easiest to just kind of come through this way and then... See, these aren't really any accessible sheer cliff faces anywhere. There's no T in the word cliff. What are you doing? Yeah, you know what? Let's just do... Is that the same level? Yes. Alright. That will help. I know this is going to be a very long process. But you just have to have something. Even if it's not Perfect. Alright, now this over here, the entrance to this is underneath all this, right? Yeah, so the entrance that we have to get to is... Oh, this doesn't even line up with anything. I guess the entrance could line up here, but that's not going to play nice. We need to actually blast this whole thing out. Because I need to be able to build a cage around this, specifically. This blockage also needs to go away, and then there is this bit here. See, this is exactly how I forget what I'm doing, because I just... brain doesn't like doing it this way. Okay, so there's only those three things. That should be fine. This doesn't actually directly connect anywhere else. Yeah, that seems like it's okay. The reason I'm getting rid of this is because I'm going to have to put a support here and then a block right in front of that. But we need to get down to about this spot here, which means if I want to get in, then what's going to make the most sense? Do I want to have access to the bottom of this? I don't think it matters, so I'll just do that. This right here is going to have to come up like that. Two ways might be faster. Technically, yes, I guess, but also they're just ludicrously expensive for what we're trying to do. This can come up here. Am I going to have a good path to get around this? Or would I be better off just coming down here? Probably not. Yeah, because that's going to want somewhere to go. Maybe. No, I still think it's going to be worth coming up here. Let's do this. That is not going to want to play nice coming through here. This is a right mess. Alright, let's get those out. We're going to have to come babysit this. This, as long as I can get down, which probably is going to make more sense in a spot closer to over here. So I could actually start building a stack from here if I wanted, but I can't really get over here that easy. Let's get this on triple speed again. That is going to go all the way down to, I suppose... Might as well just come down to here. Get those out of there. Get those to here. Bad water seep in 3 days. Don't care. Get this up to not that height. That is too high. 1x1 suspension bridge can go there. This should be fine to connect on the bottom. Provided this actually works. I'm pretty sure we already tried that. Again, I'm not going to bother with a lumberjack coming through here because that would just take way too much time. Thank you, autosave. So that will get us, in theory, if they ever complete this obstacle course of misery, all the way over there. It's going to take him 800 years. But it's fine. Okay, this is dry. These are paused. This is automated. This is now paused. We have 7,200 water. We have 5.4 days. This is all completely fine. This is actually built. And so is that. Look at us go. Okay, you know what? This is a good thing here, because now I don't have to babysit this at all. I can just have that go. They've not gotten anything to do with this, which I guess is fine. Another example of technically not a great way to be doing this, but it's going to be okay, and we don't need to worry about it. Just get that hooked into there. This is doing something. They haven't gotten too far. Yeah, because these are all way far down the priority list. We have 14 bots, but it probably won't be for long. Okay. Oh, no. We got 10%, and then the next one's in the 30s. All right. Now, we've got probably a good reason to put another one of these charging stations in this general area. I think the one right there is probably fine. I should probably put another one in on this side, because it's close to the center. And it's close to where the builder's hut is. I probably should, thank you autosave, put another builder's hut over here. I think I did reply to a comment saying that I would do that, and I have not done that. As of now, though, I think what we've got going is probably okay. Just need to babysit this, or what I could probably, and probably should do, is just get rid of these things, even if we're not going to use this area ever again, pretty much. Just make it a little bit easier. And probably what has happened, yep, we've made absolutely zero progress over here because we keep adding other stuff. Well, that's the way it goes. Now that this is in place, there's almost certainly no possible way for this to go horribly wrong. I just need to, is that a blockage? Yeah, that's fine. Just add these in very specific orders so nothing goes completely wrong. I don't think they can actually get over here to cause any issues with this. And they should be able to actually build almost all of these. And once again, not get up there to cause problems. So we'll leave that alone. Things are still looking okay over here. Now, I have enough stuff here to go ahead and start building what I wanted to build. Let's do this. I've got a ladder here. And just leave that in the center of both of those. So this one is making eggplant rations. We need to have a storage for the rations. We need to have a storage for the raw pieces. So that is going to be 4 large warehouses. Canola seeds for now will be transferred into this. And that's just going to have to be what it's going to have to be. Alright, time for the annoying maelstrom of nonsense to happen over here. The easiest way to just do it is just do it. Alright, so we've got the eggplant rations at the bottom, so the beavers can eat them. We got raw eggplant storage up here. And then, I think they can still get to all this. Thank you, lag. That goes there, and then we've got corn going to go there. This will help us with most of our issues. That will be fine there, and then moving/removing all of this will allow me to start putting in other storages, like, for example, a large storage for canola seeds, which presently I don't really have somewhere. They built these things fast, let me tell you what. They can access the back of this, that's fine. On the ground it goes. When they pick it up, nobody knows. Alright, so I've got an opportunity here to do either a large warehouse for canola stuff, which honestly is probably what should happen, or I can slightly reconfigure everything else. I will tell you what, this makes more sense, in my opinion, to put that there, and then put in a medium tank, again, just because this is somewhere it will currently fit, for canola oil right here. I'm not saying this is the perfect, permanent, never going to do anything else but this solution, but this will work. And it will help us solve the issues that we are currently facing. Alright, I can almost get this connected here. As soon as the last 6 logs get picked up, I can connect them. Then I can reclaim all of this and have that be more trees. You can never have too many trees. I guess you probably could have too many trees, but this will be fine. This will be a big improvement. I remember what I was going to do is I was going to put in a lumberjack flag here. Let's go ahead and just pop that in place so we don't forget. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. I believe our friend Mike said we needed 7 or 8. And the way this is currently set up, you know what we can do is pop in one more right about here, and these are, they're not perfectly spaced out, but it's, you know, it's decent. You got 2 on this side, you got 2 over here, you got 1 here, and you got 1 here and 1 here. I probably would like to have one closer to this, but the only way that's really going to happen is if I move it, and I guess theoretically this is a better spot than, say, right here. So we'll do that. They will take care of that all on their own. We won't have to worry quite so much about it. Corn rations looking good. Eggplant rations looking good. We got storage for the raw stuff, so this farm can actually, you know, do farm activities again. We're looking good. And the drought is almost over. So, I'm going to take this out of triple speed now because I do want to try and get a little bit more done before the end of this You know what? I've got the ability to take care of this almost entirely. This is connected, which go the other way. You don't need this anymore. Yes, the pathing is still abominable. No, it does not matter. This is already hooked up here and here. They can build from inside the tubeways, so in theory, I probably don't need to worry about this quite so much. But I know as soon as I place something, some bot's going to get stuck, and I'm going to get really mad about it. So let's not do that. This is now set up. Yeah, you know, I was trying to avoid this being a whole thing where I was going to have them come in here and clear all this out, because I thought I could take care of it without worrying about it, but we all know that that is not how this works. So this now has to be basically relegated to whatever nonsense we can muster. I guess this is fine. I do want this to be hooked up before the heat death of the universe, so I'm going to prioritize these. Mostly because we're probably about to end this. I really want this to be hooked up so that it can actually be used for the beaver's benefit, because this is going to flow through here, into here, and maybe offset a little bit of the bad water. I should check on this. Is this done? It is. Okay. This got built. Yes. Alright, so this is no longer connected. Not sure. Oh, okay. No, I did that on purpose because I didn't want them to get poisoned. I needed to have this, now that this is actually blocked off, added with some, oh, come on, stairs. There we go. Not that we really can do that much else in this area, but no bad water is going to come in here basically ever again, as far as I can tell. They still have not done half of what I wanted them to do. Well, again, can't really get mad at them for it. This, I guess, is going to have to come in bits and pieces. Yeah, this piece is, okay, they're under something to get that done. Metal-wise, 49. Okay. Okay, remember the part where I said I wasn't going to worry about it? I was just going to do it manually because I didn't want to deal with the grief of this going wrong. Well, you know what? Send it. That's fine. They're already focused on this anyway. So I think this is going to be, like I said, the most important thing. That one, I think, can be built from below. Looks like it can. And, you know, this probably doesn't matter, honestly. Because we're not going to be coming back through here, but, you know, if I didn't do it, then something would go wrong. Alright, it is now about to be cycle 17. We're going to find out exactly what happens next. I can't end this right now, though. I absolutely have to have this hooked up or I'm going to lose my mind. These things coming back online, I'm going to have to figure out a way to automate this next time around. The supply is not enough for the demand. This does not have enough limbs right now anyway, so I'm going to hit pause on that. That will help. We've started using more power there. That is something that probably can't be helped. I've added more chargers, which, you know, is objectively not that great, but overall, I think we made some good improvements. We definitely need to get more of these things hooked up, and that is, you know, kind of what I'm trying to do. But it doesn't always end up being possible, does it? Sometimes stuff just happens and you got to deal with it. I'm not a golfer, but I believe the phrase "play it where it lies" applies here. That should hopefully get finished before they come in here to do this. One would hope. Bad water source in 10 days. Bad water... Oh, which bad water source is coming on in 10 days? Ah, this one. Which, this turned out to be a big fat nothing burger, but maybe this one will, you know, cause a little bit of excitement over here. We are, after all, still attempting to work on this. And I know this is a very, very long way for these bots to go, but as requested, we did kind of map this out. Even if it's going to take a really long time. We did set a plan in motion even if it is not a very fast or tremendously good one. But we did do something, and that is what matters at the end of the day. They're building these tubeways. This is really going to help us out here. 4 times speed for the bots coming through this way. Probably should be extending this. I don't think I can connect the tubeways either. That counts as a district crossing thing. But they are working on that. This is not a huge priority. This is working out. They're just being slow about it. This is in the process of being demolished. They're running out of power because, of course, they are. Charging station, of course, they're going to go all the way back to the center of the district and charge because that's just what they do. Don't have a better spot for that. And once again... Oh, they actually did start working on this. Well, well, well. I will say this has gone, you know, better than I thought it would go. I am feeling pretty good about most of this. We just got to keep on keeping on. This is rotating. This is not going to really have enough power to run all of this. But, you know, I said I'd do it, so we're going to do it. Just need to have them take care of the rest of these things. This district is doing okay. I just want these 2 things to be done. Good. This is waiting on that. I think that is fully hooked up. This is now ready there. So this should, if nothing else, provide us just one more layer of uh-oh protection. This has been improved. It still obviously has a lot more that could be done. But I think overall things are looking looking pretty good. And this is coming through here. Is that because this is rotating? No, it is not, because this is not even built. It's too far. Okay. Too far for the bots. Now is that in range? It is. This is the flow from... okay, short cycle. So I guess, yeah, this is going to be a good place to stop here in a little bit. We'll have a drought next episode. We can do even more stuff to try to protect ourselves. Because this bad water source turning on in 8 days is going to turn on during a drought, which means we're going to have absolutely nothing go on, and maybe this core will become undormant during that period of time. Don't know. We will find out. But I guess this would be a good opportunity in another drought to get this thing up and running. Start the process of getting a tubeway connected. Honestly, this probably needs to be its own district over here. It's very far away. But I need them... Oh, now they don't have any logs. Okay. Well, I tried. They're going to do what they're going to do with that. We'll continue expanding. I don't want to use too much metal for tubeways until we have a reliable long-term source. This is not technically a reliable long-term source because remember we have these unstable cores that are going to go off at some point and, you know, not make this usable in the slightest. I have this. I know this is a very poor pathing, but they are going to be working on it. I know I said it was going to be done, but now I feel like... Yeah, I would need, to be able to do this, I would need to have a 4x1, and I only have a 3. So I can either do a 4x1 suspension bridge for 600 science, or I can do a 4x1 overhang for 1,000. Let's table that for right now. And come back to that next episode. I know this is... Yeah, it's fine. Don't need to worry about it. This will just drain off the edge of the map. At some point I'll fix that. Or not, because it kind of doesn't matter, honestly. Drought coming up means this is no longer relevant for the next, like, 20-some days. Thank you, autosave. You know, I think this is about the best I can currently do. So we're just going to leave this here. I appreciate you guys watching these videos, giving helpful comments, feedback, ideas, etc. I appreciate your patience when I don't want to spend half an episode fumbling around with automation for people to get irritated with. But I think we're in a decent spot. Things are improving slowly. We've not yet had an absolute cataclysm, but I keep being told that it's coming, and then it doesn't come, so who knows? I guess we'll find out. But I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Beard Boosters, obviously you see the names on the screen. Enabling the madness, or at least this specific brand of it. And let us do what we got to do, because to be perfectly honest with you, I got a whole lot of stuff going on outside of YouTube, and it's maybe getting to a point in my life where I have to decide if it's going to be possible for me to keep doing this long term in favor of putting other things aside. But I do appreciate the folks who are committed to making things continue on as much as they can, the way that we like to do it, without the sponsors, without the clickbait, without the whatever else you want to say that you might not enjoy seeing, that I also don't enjoy doing. So, as long as we're doing this way, we're going to do it this way. And whatever that means, however long that lasts, I hope you'll be here for it. I do appreciate you. Please always know that, even if I don't, always do exactly what you want me to do. I am glad you're here, and I do enjoy this time we get to spend together. So, whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back in this series on Tuesday. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.